Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. We, Group 4, are presenting to you the IBS case study which located at Seri Jati Apartment, Siti Alam, Selangor. But before that, let me introduce you our group members. Started from me, Nadra Ainda binti Ros Fuai, Nur Aisyah Shakira binti Nur Isam, Nur Atika Fatini binti Nur Izam, Wan Irfan Nu'man bin Wan Mahazi, Muhammad Akmal bin Nur Adnan, and last but not least, Anis Nabila binti Azhan. Now, let's start.
IBS. What is IBS? Is it irritable bowel syndrome? No, IBS stands for Industrialized Building System in Construction. So, what is IBS? So, IBS can be defined as a construction method that involves the production of components in a controlled environment based on property. Based on our world, IBS can be also defined as eco-friendly and green buildings materials in Malaysia. There also have many types of IBS systems such as precast concrete, metal framing systems, system formwork, timber framing systems, and blockwork systems based on green edge IBS light. Now, let's get into for the objectives. So the objectives for this report is we wanted to analyze the IBS application on Seri Jati apartment. Second, we also need to identify the IBS component that we use on Seri Jati apartment. Third, we also wanted to measure the IBS score which collected based on Seri Jati apartment. Alright, next presenter.
I'm Aisha and I will talk about the case study. The chosen case study is Seri Jati Apartment. Seri Jati Apartment is located at Shah Alam, Selangor. The apartment was completed in 2014. It has 6 blocks. 3 of the blocks are 10-story high, while the remaining 3 blocks are 11-story high. The apartment has a total of 948 units, and each unit have a total book of area of 813 square feet that consists of 3 bedroom and 2 bathroom. Moreover, each unit get 2 complementary parking space. This is the unit layout plan of Seri Jati apartment. For the application of IBS, the simple and easy design of the apartment made it suitable to deploy this system. In Seri Jati apartment project, around 948 units are built using IBS method. The IBS system that used in this project are precast concrete method. This precast concrete method are applied at building element of the apartment such as roof, wall, beam, column and floor slab. The apartment project adopts a precast construction method with standardized component to speed up the construction process while maintaining high quality. The IBS application in this building apartment is influenced by a number of factors, including lower the construction cost, reduce number of laborers, shorten the duration of construction process, and to maintain the quality of the apartment.
Precast concrete column, multi-story corbel column or single floor-to-floor corbel element are also available in precast column. Single floor-to-floor corbel elements are used in this construction because they are basic in design, detailing, and construct. They match the repetition features in the apartment design. Initial column and edge column profile are used to support the walls in this structure. Cast in situ pad foundation. In this construction, a cast in situ pad foundation is a type of foundation that is carried on site to support point load, such as a column and ground beam. Tension, compression, and shear force will be transferred to the foundation structure through anchor bolts. Anchor bolts are drilled into the foundation pad before connecting the column with this approach to ensure appropriate connection. The precast concrete column are then attached to the column shoe where the connection is made possible. This sort of connection does not require use of bracing. Precast concrete beam. Precast beams are designed to be simple and practical. The spiral L shape and a larger inverted T profile are used in this construction. They are made to be continuous in order to improve further loads. The precast floor component sits directly on the inverted T protected ledger. Precast concrete walls. The precast wall in this apartment have a similar face finish to cast-in-place wall. The door and window apparatus are integrated into these wall panels. Connection points are marked on the precast wall panel, which are essential for supporting the apartment structure weight. Load-bearing walls, which resist and transfer load, and shear walls provide a lateral load resistance are the type of precast wall used in this apartment. Precast hollow core slab. Hollow core slab were chosen for the apartment because they have the best span range with a maximum span capacity of 2.4 kN SQM across a 60-meter span. Direct costs such as transportation and also indirect costs during installation and the method of the connecting to the beam all influence this optimal range. These slabs are quite effective. They are unlike other floor type. They can attain span to the depth ratio. To connect the structure together and provide diaphragm action in the floor system, hollow core slabs are covered with a structure script. This slab can also be reused and recycled at the end of its life cycle. Roof steel framing. The whole type of roof truss was used in this structure. Steel roof framing is more costly than the timber roof structure, but it is more durable and requires minimal maintenance. In comparison to the timber roof framing, steel roof framing do not require treatment to resist natural substance. Steel roof framework is environmentally friendly due to its ability to be recycled. Precast concrete staircase. This type of precast staircase is used when a complete flight with a certain number of steps is required. The landing and support points of this fabricated staircase are coated with sound insulation. They are a separate component from the wall panels. Suitability for precast concrete column. Multi-story apartment building benefit from precast concrete column. During the manufacturing process, quality may be monitored. Not only that, but the building time may be short. By having intentional manufacturing that maintain consistency in connection carrying of load from other structure component, precast concrete column can reduce building costs. Precast concrete column also flexible in variety of sizing and configuration. Cast in situ pad foundation. Versatile for simple connection do not require complicated connection, which might lead to further complication. Fabricated and reinforced to withstand heavy construction stress. Cast in situ pad foundation able to withstand higher load from the building. Precast concrete beam. The precast concrete beam are flexible and configurable. They have a wide range of capabilities for designing concrete plank span to fulfill specific requirements. The column shape influenced the design of the beam. L and T precast concrete beam were used in this apartment. It has a lot of potential for producing reliable connection and construction outcomes. Because of its sturdy and decent structure, noise transfer from floor to floor is limited, which is ideal for this apartment. Precast concrete wall. Precast concrete walls are energy efficient because of their high thermal mass, which help keep the building cool. Possess loading bearing capabilities that acts as a lateral stabilizer for structural load from roof and wind. The long span concrete wall will be more durable if they are reinforced with steel. Precast hollow core slab. The precast concrete hollow core slab is suitable for apartment as the tubular void significantly reduces the weight of the slab while maintaining the strength. This result is an efficient lightweight unit that's suitable for resisting the bending moment from load in this apartment. This apartment long span capability is great. it is made up of pre-stressing tendons that give a predetermined force to withstand external load and crack structure. Acts as a sound and fire barrier. Also, electrical installation does not need drilling. Roof steel framing are suitable for this apartment as they are insusceptible to shrinkage, termite infestation, rotting, and ripping. Steel roof can also be installed in a poor weather, eliminating expensive downtime. Prefabricated steel roof structure also reduce cost and labor time as a worker only take care of assembly. Lightweight, it can reduce transportation costs and also height resistant against weathering and insect infestation. Precast concrete stair is suitable for the apartment as unlike solid concrete step, they are hollow, lighter and less prone to settle over time. Even if settling occurs, the remediation is an easy one as the lightness of the stair unit allow them to be conveniently replaced. This makes the stair safe and suitable for this apartment in the long run. Staircase construct of precast concrete more accurate and flexible during the factory fabrication and also more efficient erection process.
Hello, I'm Muhammad Akmal. Here I will explain about fabrication process in Seri Jati apartment. First thing first, fabrication process has been part of many systems in construction, especially for precast system. It existed and evolved through multiple methods based on the construction type to be suited with the structure needed. In Seri Jati apartment, there are two systems being used, which are precast system and prefabricated system. The primary material for those two should be concrete and steel. In this subtopic, I will explain in general and in detail about 5 main features involved in Seri Jati apartment, which are steel roof trusses, load and non-load bearing wall, staircase, lift core walls, and aircon ledges. I chose to explain these particular elements because of the unique fabrication process that differ from others. For precast system, concrete is the main material. The process in general for fabrication process involves 7 steps. Like the factory, the worker will be assembling the mold first, based on what criteria and types of the element want to make. The mold then will be prepared by do a first inspection to make sure the mold clean from any debris before continue. If the mold good to go, the worker will assemble a rebar according to the elements. This is because the number of rebar will be varied to one another due to different dimension. The second inspection will do to secure the reinforcement bar accurately positioning. When the rebar are fixed, the concreting process is good to go. The worker will spread the concrete that poured by the machine or by doing semi-manually depending on the factory equipments. The last inspection will be done during curing process to oversee the hardened concrete and make sure it is in good condition without any porous. Several days pass, the worker will carry the precast element to the storage using mechanical assistant to carry it, then tag or mark it with a code to make the storage process easier. I have done with general process. Now I will explain deeper about details on the Seri Jati apartment for fabrication process. The early 4 of the main features will be precast system. Going on to the first feature, precast load and non-load bearing wall. Do the delivering to check the flatness of the base for wall before assembling aluminium and steel mold. Checking the mold free from any debris and clean it if got any. Pre-stressing strands like sleeve pipe, lifting hooks should be fixed into an incorrect position. Do the primary vibration and vibration test. Pour the mixing concrete into the mold and flatten the poured concrete and observe the curing time. When the concrete hardens, open the bolts and nuts of mold slowly and do final inspection to check the final condition. Both load and non-load bearing wall will in the same process but in different type of mold due to functionality. Next, precast staircase. Set up a timber framework for staircase. Then make sure the mold clean from any debris. Place the reinforcement bar into the timber mold. Then the concrete pour and vibrate to equally flatten the concrete. After that, check the curing process of concrete for stair slab. Then the last one, the precast staircase is ready to transport to site based on required dimension. Next, the third one will be precast lift core walls. The first step will be the mold for lift core wall are assembled based on the permissible dimension on the architecture drawing. The accuracy level of mold is checked before assembly. The mold will be checked again to guarantee it free from debris. The steel rebar is placed in required position. Then the machine will be poured down the concrete into the wall core lift, which is thicker than normal wall. And after the concrete is being poured, check the progress during curing time. Next, precast acorn ledges. The first one will be prestressed ledges come from a fabrication on casting beds. The strength for all beds are tension. Get ready a mixed concrete and pour into beds and cover reinforcement bars. Frequently check the curing progress to avoid any major honeycomb and fitted to each ceiling plugs. And the last one, prefabricated steel roof trusses. The first step will be automated decoiler will be flatten the raw material of metal strip into roy former. The roy former then will be bended by C-channel steel profile. The C-channel steel will be cutted, punched, and measured based on dimension. The finished product of steel will be assembled per individual parts. Bolt and nuts were used as a connection detail on all parts manually. Moving on to another subtopic, which is connection details. In construction, based on precast system, which is concrete structure, it involves an important aspect which are connection details of every precast elements to be suitably connected together. For such structure, need to be considered in the design of joints and connections. There are many types of connection details that can be achieved in construction from precast system, such as bolting, welding, and grouting. Based on the figure, all the components that have been used for Seri Jati apartment can be included and parallel, such as beam to column to column, and column to base through pin or rigid. This is because the connection detail material must be designed to endure the natural or man-made load to be compliant with strength, ductility, reliability, and the stiffness. First major connection will be column to base connection. There are three types of connection for column to base, which are grouted sleeve, pocket foundation, and steel base plate. Through several readings, Seri Jati apartment confirmly use grouted sleeve, which is commonly used in various construction that use precast concrete system. The important thing needs to be considered is that to make sure the connection is suitable for the structure. As this type was apartment, it is the best option to use the chosen design. If we look at the figure, it shows that the precast column comes with corrugated sleeve. The common unit usually have 4 sleeves that hold the projecting bars which are connected to base. To do so, non-shrink grout, which are water resistant, will be holding place to make sure the bars stay in place. This is because the column must stand accurately based on the engineer drawing. Second major connection detail is column-to-column connection. The structural forces are the main problem to high buildings like Seri Jati apartment. When it comes in between column to column, the joint design should be installed from column to column by pin or moment connection. Look at this figure. There are two separate columns. On top is precast column that come with a sleeve. It will connect with extended rebar from the bottom precast column that already fixed. From here, the column below will be positioned, then the extended rebar will enter the column with sleeve to lock the joints. This will establish a strong bond length that tying bars in grouted joints. Grout should be pressurized to make sure the steel bars is well connected. The last major connection detail is beam to column connection. To connect between beam and column, we actually has the simplest method among others connection. Due to it parts of two major superstructure that use precast system, to allow the tension overall building to be transferred through, it become the most important elements. In this particular section, precast system with a mix of in situ connection fill in the gap and hold it together. To do so, a hidden connector, which is on the figure, the corbels were used to support the beam by placing it on the column. The precast beams come with a reinforcement bar to attach the projected link. When it already connected, the column corbels will attach to beam bearing pad to set a footing area. The column dowel bars are connected with beam and column that fill in by in situ concrete.
In this section, let's look at the IBS process for the Seri Jati apartment. This work begins with the foundation by built in situ. The contractor started the foundation installation with the excavation process on every point of the foundation. Next, precast concrete columns are installed. This component was installed in every column stump. Move on to the ground floor slab. It was constructed in situ. After that, the precast concrete wall components are installed. There are two types of the precast concrete wall that used in this project, which is a load-bearing wall and non-bearing wall. Then, the precast staircase was installed on the precast wall. The slab for the first floor is installed by in situ. The construction installation was repeated starting from the installing the precast concrete column and the precast concrete wall up to the 10th story.
Hi, my name is Wan Irfan and I will explain about the schedule of the modular component. Basically, this section will list down all the components of IBS that will be installed on the site. We start with the precast concrete column. The building have 4 types of column, with the first one have 2 parallel hammerhead cap, the second one with an adjacent hammerhead, the C3 with 3 hammerhead cap, and the C4 with all side of hammerhead. Next, for the precast concrete floor slab, the building will have up to 4 types of slab. Each one of them will have the same thickness of 200 mm but different with width and height. The quantity will also differ from each one of them. Now, for the concrete beam, we have 3 types of beam, which is the end beam, the intermediate beam, and the end beam. For the end beam, the 5 different specs of the beam will differ from the length and the height, but we have the same thickness. The intermediate beam will feature 6 different kind of length and height, but also with the same thickness. The other beam is a special beam with 3 different kind of shape and size for each one of the special use. Move on to the precast concrete wall panel. The building will have up to 15 different kind of wall panel with different shape and sizes. Some of the wall will have the cutout of the door and some will have the cutout of the window. The door and windows, we have one type of standard flush door, one type of dual opening sliding door, while we have one type of small single glaze window, another one with larger single glaze, and one way opening of sliding window. The precast concrete staircase will have one type of staircase with 200mm tread, 167mm riser, 3000mm floor-to-floor height with 18 steps in between them. Lastly, the roof trusses will use the metal type of truss with 100mm in thickness for the length of 20,400mm with 3000mm height at the top. Thank you.
So, the total score of IBS for the Seri Jati apartment is 81%. This total contribute from the IBS score part 1, the element of structural system for 39.1%, part 2 is the element of wall system for 18.8%, and the last one is part 3, the other simplified construction solution for 24.0%.
For the conclusion, this strategy can save a lot of money, and the best thing is that it can prevent any waste from the beginning of the construction process. In 2014, the apartment was completed. It consists of 6 blocks, 3 of which are 10 stories high, while the remaining 3 are 11 stories high. There are 948 units in the complex, each with a total built-out space of 813 square feet and 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. This apartment incorporates design elements. It features a simple geometrical design, and a rectangle grid is the optimal grid arrangement. It also has a pattern that repeats. A structural precast skeletal frame with columns and beams, as well as a precast floor system, are also included in this apartment. The frame of this structural system is moment resistant. In this design, the IBS criteria was considered, which informed the IBS component selections. This project has an IBS score of 81%.
Like every other construction, there always lies the complication and snags in the project construction. It is recommended that the coordination for the project to be textbook perfect and faultless in handling all the IBS component installation. The project management team need to ensure that the component is akin to the design in the drawing. Other than that, the project management team also need to consider ordering extra component from the calculated number for the contingency if the component is broken during the installation. The ordering also needs to consider the expected delivery on site so that the component will not taking the site storage too much once arrived. Meanwhile, the component delivery to the site needs to be done in time with the project planning to ensure no delay will occur. Once arrived on site, the component needs to be inspected by the quality engineer to certify the component ordered are complied with the specification for the building plan. It is also recommended for the project to have many cranes available during the erection of the component because it can hustle up the installation work, thus reducing the time taken need to install the component. The mounting of the component to the crane need to double check to guarantee the component will not fall during the transfer process. The placement of the component should be monitored by the site supervisor to ensure that the component is fitting to their placement according to the drawing.
That's all from us. Thank you.